everyone. Welcome to Camppatton Family Compound. And yes, it is time for Friday night in the Homestead. And tonight's topic is grow what you eat what you grow. Yes, I'm doing a twist on the prepper thing of store what you eat what you store. But hey, it's something we should be doing. Okay, got Courtney here. And I was hoping some others would make it up here. I'm glad to see someone in the side chat I haven't seen in a long time. Welcome, Dave. And let me get back up here to this here and get to the top of the chat and start going down the roll call here. First one in was Duncan 1900, followed by Walt Rogers. And we all made a good pointer, so I'm going to stop and pause that and put that up there. The more you can grow, the further you are from starvation. All right, then CR came in. Then Kalen Strain. Then Troop 1351. And everyone's talking. Phelan Clan Wolf joined us. Skinner Farms is in the house. And David Southern Ohio Prepping is here. Trying not to miss anybody as I scroll down. And what do we got here? Everything's looking good here. Everybody's talking. And Tammy from Rebel Canners is in the house. And I didn't realize that she was doing the live at noon today until just before I went across the street. And so I'm going to have to go back and watch the replay on that one.
Yeah, I had to take my son somewhere, so I couldn't do it.
All right. And let's see, Idaho Garden Girls here. And All the Things Acres is in the house. And caught back up here. All righty. So tonight's premise is going to be kind of hodgepodged. Because basically, talking about, you want to grow what you eat and eat what you grow. So let me get over here to the slideshow. And let's see. Okay, so you get such joy in harvesting foods that you have grown yourself. That's one benefit right there. Another benefit is they haven't been sprayed with all these chemicals like the store-bought stuff has, i.e. the tomatoes that are picked green, and sprayed with something to make them ripen by the time they get to the grocery store. They look nice, bright, and they taste like crap. The thing is, if you grow it yourself, you can pick what you want to pick to eat that at the time. Of course, then if you have a lot, you're going to need to pick a little bit more, so you can start canning them or dehydrating them or freeze drying it. And you can plant the varieties you want and not just be limiting yourself to the particular type of tomatoes or the particular type of grapes or the particular type of peppers they have in the store. This one here I really like. Look at the background on this picture, though. I see all sorts of cool plants back there. I see squash, I see tomatoes, I see sunflowers, and then some berries over there on the right. And it is, super sticker! Super sticker! Woo, woo! Thank you, All the Things Acres.
Woohoo!
And Ontario Homestead is in the house. And Rachel Knight is here. Did I miss anybody else up here? Scroll back up. Okay, so caught up with everybody. And yeah, so, it's just gardens are so neat in what you can do and grow. And the more you work your garden, the more you're going to find out you can grow. Because the more you learn, this didn't work out quite good last time. Let me try it this way. Or this worked out really great, so I'm going to repeat that one. And sometimes, if you don't have enough land yourself, community gardens. You can get, people together. And if you happen to know somebody in your neighborhood Some elderly people have a big yard and they're not doing anything with it. Get several neighbors together, go over there and offer to turn it into a garden. And how, and that way you share some of the produce with the elderly couple, and they no longer have weeds. They got a nice, beautiful garden. And what else we got here? And yeah, even a small area, you can produce a lot if you do it right. And it's how you'd say, hugelkultur, food forests. All right, and that's what I just had some quick pictures to show you there on different things to get everybody in the right mood here. Yeah, I know for people in the city, having a place to grow is a problem. Trying to get the city to, how do I say this without offending people? Well, what the heck? Pull their heads out of their derrieres and realize, hey, rather than making these parks where nobody can really do anything at, they just look quote beautiful with all the grass and stuff, but you can't really do anything there. They don't let people play. They don't let people run their dog. If they would devote some of that land to a place to grow food, they would bring the communities together. Hey, Alicia. And so if you in a city, in an area where you can't grow food because you don't have enough land, talk to your city council, talk to your neighbors, get a bunch of people talking to the city council. Because if you get like 50 people and say, hey, we need some this abandoned property here, the city to buy it and turn it into a community garden where we can grow food and make it into something not an eyesore. City's council is more likely to listen to 50 people than just one or two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not good, all the things, Acres. I'm glad you're out and feeling a little bit better. So, I mean, I know the main topic is eat what you grow what you eat, Got that backwards, but same principle. One of the things that we will never, ever grow, unless my wife wants to grow something just for her alone, and that is eggplant. In the 35.5 years we've known each other, we've had eggplant a total of 0 times. I can't stand the texture of it. I can't stand the flavor of it. It's one of those things I can't stand. And my wife's not really all that fond of it, where she would insist on cooking it when I'm at home.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that both of us hate because of what our parents did to it when they were cooking it when we were kids.
Oh.
Brussels sprouts will not pass either of our lips unless you give us $10 million to have one.
I don't know. My taste buds have completely changed over the years, and I love things I didn't like when I was a kid. Like, if Brussels sprouts are cooked the right way, oh my gosh, they're freaking delicious. It's like
both our parents burnt them every single time they cooked them.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just so even the smell of a properly cooked one, it's still it floods back the burnt smell and the burnt taste, and it's just like, hey, Lewis.
Hey, Marshmallow Man.
And so there are certain things that and my wife agrees, there are certain things we just don't like. There are some things we like, and we tried to get our kids to eat, and they weren't burnt or anything. They were, actually, and some of the kids are coming around and says, okay, all right, I'll eat beans now. The other one still says, I don't like beans. But, sometimes people just, like you say, don't like things, just, no matter how it's cooked.
Yeah, I never had a beet, okay? But I just can't bring myself to taste it because they smell like dirt. So I just can't eat that. I do like pickled eggs with the beet
Mm-hmm.
juice. I think that's delicious. But I just can't bring myself to eat a beet. I just can't do it.
Yeah. My wife actually bought some at the last time she was up here when the farmers market was still going on in Idaho Falls. Bought some beets, cleaned them off really good and stuff, and had spotted a recipe to cook them on one of the blogs she follows, and they were actually pretty good. Once they were cleaned good and everything done to them, and started cooking them in the stuff, the oil and stuff she was cooking them in, and everything else, you couldn't smell that dirt flavor.
Okay.
And so it really changed up what they were taste like. Garlic, olive oil, some chives. I'm trying to remember everything she put in there. Onion powder. But she mixed stuff, and they were actually fairly good.
Yeah, Alicia, I don't like beets at all. My mom loves them, and every time she'd open up a can or something, it smells like dirt it smells like dirt. And I think that's what dirt would taste like, so I just don't eat it.
Yeah. And so, so that's one of the things we wouldn't grow. One of the things that we do grow, and she grows a lot of, even though I don't like it, and she's experimenting, trying to find something that'll make me like it, is zucchini. But she, I will eat the zucchini when she processes it and puts it in other things. Like she'll take the zucchini and she'll blanch it, and then she'll grate it and freeze it, and then she'll, when it comes after it's come out of the freezer as well, it starts to break down a little bit, and then she'll put it like in some chili, or she'll put it in some sort of soup where you can't taste it, and a lot of other flavorings, and the texture's gone because it's not this. It's this little real fine stringy stuff that's breaking down and everything else.
Yeah.
But just sliced and diced zucchini as a side dish.
Yeah, we're doing lots of zucchini this year, and I found a recipe where you make zucchini burgers, and it was actually really good last year, and had a really good taste. And we threw like bacon bits and stuff in it,
Well, bacon makes everything better except for Brussels sprouts.
It was delicious. So I think we're going to do that again this year. Plus, you can do lots of things like make spaghetti and healthier noodles and stuff like that. So
she has made some lasagna with zucchini in it, and it's been sliced, really thin, so it's it breaks down easier. It doesn't have that texture when I'm chewing on it. But mainly she just has a real fine grater, and she just runs it through it, so it's like angel hair pasta coming out, that thickness. And that's the stuff she freezes and uses again. One of the things that we are growing all the time is, of course, tomatoes, and trying, because one of our goals is to be able to make our own tomato paste, pasta, diced tomatoes, stewed whole tomato, make all that stuff ourselves. So we're not dealing with the store-bought stuff, because even though it says like no sugar added, none of this, none of that, what's on those tomatoes? Where they came from the commercial farmers.
Exactly. So. That's the part where you're trapped. I want to grow everything. That's my goal, is to grow everything in the garden, but I can't. I try, but I can't. And so then you're stuck. What do? You have to buy from the store. You don't have a choice.
Or you find a good farmer's market and you make contacts with the farmers and you buy from them, directly.
But things like bread, I shouldn't be buying bread anyway. Bread's not good for you. But things like bread and stuff like that, like you have to buy that at the store unless you make it every day.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I would love to find a recipe. Well, actually, all right. There's one of the people at the farmer's market takes wheat, sprouts it, and once it starts sprouting, the wheat changes. Okay, it's not the and when you dry the sprout and what's left of the thing, it's all changed, and you grind it up into a flour. It's not the same as regular flour. It's changed, and so it's not as much of a starch to produce sugar as the other. Because he was talking about, he goes, yeah, he's a diabetic. He can't eat regular flour because regular flour turns to a sugar when you eat it because it's starch. Well, this doing it as doing the wheat sprouts and the begins with a B, another grain. It's on the tip of my tongue. Shoot. I can't remember what it is now. I can't. The words not coming out. But he takes that, sprouts that as well, and another one, and he sprouts those. And soon as it just sprouted about that tall, that's it. That tall is all. He starts dehydrating it and grinding it, and he makes some really good breads. He's barley. Yes, barley. That was it. Thank you. Kaylin
That's a really
strikes
good
again.
idea. Idaho Grown Girl. I wish I could have some of that cornbread because I really do love corn. I love cornbread. That's awesome. And I love barley too. So
All right.
there's nothing better than some beef barley soup. I love it.
Yeah. Glenn, try click. I just put it in the chat here. Try clicking on it. If you are using so long as you're using Chrome or Edge, it should work. If you're using Firefox, it acts weird on Firefox sometimes, but not as weird as Melon does on Firefox. Wow. I can't even get in on Melon on Firefox anymore. But so there are certain things you can grow, and I wish I could have gotten Anthony up here from Palmetto Prepared. He's actually down there in South Carolina, North Carolina. He's in one of the Carolinas. He's tried growing wheat down there, and he did okay. And he grew barley, and he grew buckwheat, and some other stuff. And he's learned what But one of the things he says is, like, for those type of crops, you need big areas to do it. To get enough to make it what you actually need. But so there are some things you can grow, and there are some things, unless you have a lot of land, you can't grow.
Right. Unless you have fields. Like, okay, one year I was like, I'm going to grow kidney beans. I think I got 12 pods, and in each pod there was only like 5 kidney beans.
Oh.
You have to grow an entire field of kidney beans.
And it also depends on soil conditions too. Because when we were the first couple of years I was growing them across the street there, I found out really quick what areas of that field out there were good and what areas were totally nutrient poor. And the areas that were good, we had. Some of those little plants. They didn't get much bigger than that big, but they were just loaded. And they were about like that long with about 7 beans in there or so, and 20 feet away, about that big with five strangly beans on there with about 3 beans in each pod. It was just
That's why I stress the main crops a lot, especially for survival, like peas, carrots, tomatoes, squashes, that kind of stuff, because most of them are pretty easy to grow.
Yeah.
And so I usually stress those, because you think you're going to grow some kidney beans out there. Before you know it, you got 12 pods and 5 beans per pod. That's not even going to make you a bowl of chili. So
yeah. And what was interesting, we did some rows of the kidney beans, and we did some rows of the white navy beans. They did better.
Yeah.
And
really good for
there was another beans we planted out there too. The red kidney. Oh, the pintos. The pintos did good too.
I wanted to show you this, Howie. I got it because of you. I haven't read it yet. I just got it in the mail a couple days ago, but I can't wait to read this.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to figure on what your family likes, what you can grow a lot of in the amount of area you have, and work on that. There are also people say, oh well, okay, we have so many growing season, so many months of growing time or weeks of growing time, whatever. And they forget about, hey, you can grow stuff indoors. You just got to be willing to put up with having the trays indoors and everything else. It's like a 10-gallon, 15-gallon pot indoors with a tomato plant on it. Especially if it's a cherry tomato plant, you're going to have an indeterminate. So you're going to be getting cherry tomatoes all the time. But you also got to take either go around and do it, or you put a little fan underneath it to blow and shake it so they pollinate themselves. Pollinating indoors it can be a pain, but if you make it part of your morning routine, water, a couple new flowers here, and you keep up on it, 2 or 3 times every time you walk by. Oh, another flower. Let me get that one. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Carrots is going to be one of the things that I'm going to be trying here after I get the new IBC totes in place. I'm going to be trying those this fall to get and let them winter over.
Yes, so great to do. By the way, when you get them in the spring and you pull them, they are so sweet. I just did meatloaf the other night, and I had already blanched and froze those carrots, and I put them in my meatloaf the other night, and my husband said they were literally the best carrots he has ever had. So I'm so excited. I only got like 6 pounds because I didn't overwinter a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But it was cool. So I have enough to make me a couple meals out of it. So plus I think I'm going to make some Swiss steak and I love carrots and peas in my Swiss steak. I'll chop them up and throw them in there with the gravy. So yummy.
One of the things that my wife has been growing there that I'm growing up here as well is strawberries.
Ooh.
And so I got two of the IBC totes out there that are strawberries now. And so I got to hopefully everything survive the winter vortex here with the minus 28 degrees. But we'll see what happens. When she gets up here, I'm going to be prepping stuff. And so when she comes up, or if one of the boys come up, then we'll be doing the blueberries in a couple of the IBC totes. And then we're going to also be doing the thornless olali thumbberries, blackberries.
Yeah.
And they're planting them out where the irrigation ditch makes its transitions, because the soil gets nice and soft and it's moist all the time. So we'll be planting those out there because it's just the right moisture for them blackberries to go absolutely nuts. And if they're thornless, it means I will go in there and I'll pick them. Yeah. But I hate trying to pick them. I was made to pick the ones from all the thorns on the bushes, and it's like nope. Yeah. And that's one of the things is I stopped eating blackberry jam when they said I had to go pick them. It's like, fine, I'm not eating it anymore. And after a while, they stopped making.
I do poor man's Swiss steak. So basically, what I do is I get hamburger, and I just make a patty, and then I make it as thin as I possibly can make it. and then I use that. I don't buy real Swiss steak. I can't do that. So I don't have the money. But so I just get my hamburger and I cut it up into smaller pieces and I fry it as thin as I could possibly get it. Then I do my gravy and my peas and my whatever, carrots in there, onions, whatever. But yeah, I don't use real Swiss steak. And Gil, yes, I have so many blackberries, loganberries. My favorite is the fall gold. Those are wonderful berries. But the last couple years, I haven't been getting a yield. So, and then I have wild blackberries on the side of my house. Over on, on the side that nobody really goes to. I have them over there. And so one year I decided to pick those and then I dropped a bunch. And yeah, those have thorns. That hurt really bad.
The thing is with blackberries is you have to with the canes and stuff. So you have to take down. You got to mark. It's kind of a mental thing. Is all right. This cane came up last year. It stays. This one came up the year before. It goes. And you got to pull off canes and it'll when you take off the old canes and stuff, it'll send up new canes from the roots.
Yeah.
And those will be the ones that are producing good the next year.
I don't know what clove currants are, but I have black currant all over my property and down my fence line. And those are okay. I made a black currant jam. What I would have liked to have made out of that is maybe a chutney of some sort, because I think that would have been better like with a meat or on a steak or something like that. It's kind of bitter. So I think I much rather have not made a jam out of it. Tibor, you're making me hungry for Swiss steak. Stop it. So good.
Yeah. So what are some other things that we potatoes, obviously we'll grow potatoes.
Potatoes are kind of hard though. I mean,
it depends where you're at.
Yeah. Here in Ohio, I've had a horrible time growing them. So
here in Idaho, you throw out some out in the compost pile. Next thing you know, you got potatoes everywhere because the soil is potato soil.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And let's see. I'm just trying to remember. Okay. Trees. Apple trees are going in here. Pear trees are going in. Apricots, peaches. Those are going in the ground. We're going to be putting using the IBC totes to plant a couple oranges and a couple lemons and Meyer lemon. I forget the other lemon my wife wants to plant. We're going to be planting a navel orange, and I can't remember the other orange. Basically, we're going to take a trimming off the tree there in California and grafting it onto some rootstock. And tangerines and the type of orange in the little cans. Mandarin orange. So
if you guys have a property like you just bought, like that's the first thing you want to start thinking about is planting trees.
Yeah.
Like where are you going to put your apple if you're going to do that? Because it takes years to develop fruit off of those. So if you just bought a property, that's the first thing you want to do is plant your blueberry bushes, your raspberry bushes, your fruit trees and stuff like that, because otherwise you're going to be waiting forever to get your apples.
It's for most of your trees and stuff. You're looking at 5 to 8 years to start getting a decent crop, unless you go buy something in like a 15-20 gallon bucket already, where it's it's been in that bucket for several years already.
And those are like $300 to $400 trees.
Yeah. But shoot, I just had a thought, which is scampering right on through the brain and out the other side. Oh, walnut tree. That's another one we're going to try because that's one that my wife can still eat and not have problems with.
Just be careful planting that anywhere near your crops or garden because the tannins and the acid from the walnuts won't allow certain things to grow. So
yeah, that's going to go on the far west side of the property, next to the road for the Indian Reservation Canal that they don't maintain that property of, and maybe the tannins will kill all the morning glory and Russian broom and the other crappy weeds over there.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have problems with that. They're like, oh, I want to start a garden, but nothing will grow. I don't understand. I'm like, you need to do some history of your property and see if there was ever a walnut tree there because it ruins the soil.
Yeah, if there was a walnut tree there are certain things you got to add back into the soil to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tibor, how's it going?
Hey, Tibor.
Garden stuff. I've got my mind shifted back to so strawberries, blackberries, talked all the berries. Besides zucchini, my wife is now. I mentioned that my mom used to grow patty pans, squash. The little ones that look like little flying saucers.
Yeah, they're so weird looking.
Yeah, and she likes them. So that's going to be one of the things she'll be growing here. Patty pans to me are more palatable than the zucchini, so we'll be good there. Raspberry. Yes, my wife has some raspberries in some big tubs. They'll come up here from California, and we'll find a spot on the properties to put them. But yeah, we'll be having lots of different berries going in. Bunch of fruit trees, stone fruit, and stuff going in. Trying to figure out what, making decisions up here. Trying to get up here. She goes, okay, this, and this. And she calls me. I changed my mind on that. Don't do that. It's like, what do you want to do? Let me think about it. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Tennessee.
Because she's in California. I'm sure it's like going through her mind constantly. Well, where am I going to put this? Where am I going to put that? That's how women think. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Like in the beginning, I planted my raspberry bushes and stuff before I started my garden. And so it was a big mistake. I planted my garden basically around those raspberry bushes, and they're slowly trying to leak into the garden, and we have to cut them back a lot. So It might have been a huge mistake, but I tell you what, when we first started them, I thought I was killing them. I thought I killed them. So then we went and bought another $50 worth of bushes. And then before you know it, they all popped up. And I was like, it's nuts. So I have
one of the things that worked good on my mom's place in California.
Mm-hmm.
I poured concrete walkways and stuff. Guess what? Concrete walkways keep in check. Raspberries, blackberries, because they're not going to root and send runners 3 feet under the concrete.
Yeah,
they're going to go the other way where they can feel the sun hitting the soil. And then it was much easier to keep those under control, and for my mom to get out there and cut the proper canes and stuff for that. But hey, Diggs.
But yeah, it's I don't know. So the topic is grow what you eat and eat what you grow. So yeah, don't go out there. I know it's really easy to like go through the Baker Creek catalog and be like, ooh, I've never seen that before. Ooh, I'm going to plant that. Ooh, but don't go and plant a bunch of things that you weren't going to eat either. You
can do some test plants, 1 or 2 test plants, and find out whether you want it or not.
And I love Baker Creek, but M.I. Gardner is really good at doing those 99-cent seed packs, so you can test it out. There's not as many in those seed packs, but you can get a little 99-cent seed pack and test out pretty much anything that Baker Creek has had, because it's almost the same seeds. So you can do that and test it out and see if you like it, and then buy bigger amounts later on. But don't stress yourself out like, oh, I'm going to get this. Oh, I'm going to get that. And yeah, might not be what you like. I've done that before. That's why I pointed that out.
Brenda, one of the things we did in California, when I was growing up, there were 3 rows of the blackberries, about 100 foot long. And my brother and cousin, they wanted to do a 4th row. And so what they did is, the one year, they on that 3rd row next to where they wanted to put the 4th row, they started training a couple of them up really high. And after the season was pretty much done, they took those, bent those down, laid them down to where where they had already put in. They'd already put in the 4x4 posts and the 2x4s on the posts and stuff to do it. Bent over and buried the end where they wanted them to grow at. But this is California, so they weren't getting a lot of hard freezes there.
Yeah. And
so when they saw new stuff, or some of the stuff they put in there start, going and growing, they went and cut it off, and then they cut the arching canes off. And so they had this whole row going, and boom, next spring they were just coming up and going nuts. So they found, just by taking it and burying it in there, and it did good. But of course that winter, I think we had maybe 3 frost days that entire winter that year.
Yeah. Caitlin, I love herbs too. And when I first started out, I wanted to have like a tea garden, where I could mix my stuff and make cool teas and, and stuff like that. But I just love herbs as well. And for anyone out there that wants to like get started in a garden, herbs are so easy. So that is probably, the easiest thing you can get started on. And
that's something I was thinking about, and I forgot. That was a thought that went through my head. Was sprouts and stuff.
Yeah.
Year round indoors. And I know, like that, the big my indoor garden, how I got those 3 sets of shelves together there. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about, after talking with my wife, we're going to pare it back so it's just so it's 2 wide, and get another set of shelves. So I have 2 sets that are 2 wide. That way we can get to everything from each side. But we can put those gray bussing bins on the shelves and use those for the sprouts and stuff.
Yeah.
And that would work really good for sprouting the buckwheat, the barley, and the wheat, for making the flour that I was talking about, the guy did up there at the farmer's market there. So it's not really wheat flour with everything, all the starches in it, and it's more of a lighter flour that you can do. And if we need to, we can get almonds and do that. And that still debating. My wife is still debating on letting me plant an almond tree, because she can't eat almonds anymore. And that has her a little mad. She loves almonds and she loves cashews, and she can't eat either of them anymore unless she's taken Beano beforehand. Otherwise, her tummy really hurts. Then her intestine hurts, and she's so mad and grumpy that I don't want to be around her.
Yeah, it sounds like diverticulitis.
I'm not sure what it is. It's just, but if she takes Beano, it settles everything down.
It's so weird. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, herbs grow really well in containers too. So, that makes it to where anybody can grow herbs in your house. You can get, some lights, set up a light structure or something in your house, and, grow some herbs and stuff like that. And that can be your gateway into gardening. So.
And if you have the shelf set up right, and you depending on what type of sprouts you're growing and greens and stuff, how tall they need to get and everything else. I can tell you right now, for me and my wife, like the Grand Rapids lettuce, when she's here, probably 3 plants growing at a time on rotation is all we need. I mean, we'll probably, and we may wind up having to cut that back down to 2, because, that produces a lot of salad indoors. And, so.
Talking about that.
Yeah, Kaylin's still looking for a portable sun, aka a light producing thermonuclear reactor that she can hang out there.
Yeah, it's Gateway Gardening, CR. See?
Yeah. So there's when you're thinking about what you're going to grow, think about what you're going to eat, and think about the stuff you're growing is how much of it can and keep for year-round eating. And so there's like going to be a lot of things that are going to taste, like you said, taste different from the store than what you grow it. But then when you can it, it's going to taste a lot different when you can it from fresh food than what you get buy in the store processed. And that's why they add so much friggin' sugar and salt and high fructose corn syrup to the stuff from the store, is trying to make it taste good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shawnee Chef, I love radishes. I don't know if you've ever made, those cold vegetable pizzas that you use just like the dough from the grocery store, I don't know what it is, the crescent roll stuff, and you bake that, and then you put cream cheese and ranch powder and together, and then you spread that out, and then you put vegetables and cheese and whatever on top, and it's cold pizza. But radishes on that, radishes and broccoli and stuff on that makes the best vegetable pizza I've ever had in my life. So freaking good.
So, yours.
I love radishes.
One of the things that that my wife and I talked about when she was up here, she bought some of that bread, and she bought a bag of the flour to take home from the guy there, is if we can make pasta with it. There is a type of pasta that we love getting that's about as big around as my thumb, but it's like spiral, and it's wavy as it goes around in a spiral. I forget what it's called. And you usually get pieces about that long, about like that big around. And she cooks that up. She makes a pesto sauce to go on it. And then she dices up tomatoes fairly small and mixes it all, and cooks it, cools the pasta down a little bit, mixes the pesto in it, throws the tomatoes in it, and she makes a big, huge bowl of it. And then the boys come in, and the bowl's half gone instantly. And my wife and I will eat that too much, and it's very simple. But if we can make that type pasta will be coming back into my diet.
Yeah. I've had them roasted. I'm not too fond of them. I tried to trick my son into eating roasted radishes because I thought he would like them versus potatoes. No. He popped one in his mouth and he quivered. He was like, I'm not eating that. But yeah.
Too hot for him.
I roasted them, and I put like salt and pepper on them like you would like a mashed potato kind of deal.
Yeah. But aren't radishes a little, depending on the breed, they're hot.
When you roast them, they're completely different. They're sweet.
Okay.
Yeah. But when you eat them raw, yeah, they're hot. They can be. Yeah, I have a whole bush, Shawnee Shab, of lemon balm, and you can make a tea out of that. It'd be like a lemon tea. It is so yummy.
this up here. Okay. And so following the side chat, this is going to fit perfect for Monday's topic. Monday's topic is, what new foods are you learning to cook? Mm. So we talk about new foods, experimenting,
food.
New things. I mean, food, gardening, food. Hey, you can't do one without the other hardly at all. So, yeah, there are probably, I'm just trying to think of all the things. So strawberries, blackberries, the blueberries. I'm not a fan of blueberries, but my wife and boys are. So, and of course my daughter is. So I'll have grandkids over here learning the blueberries. Zucchini, patty pans, summer squash. My daughter does the butternut squash.
Yeah,
she does butternut squash, pumpkins. Yeah, so we're gonna do because I guess the squash they use for pumpkin pie is not pumpkins for the most part.
It's butternut.
And so, but my wife has made pumpkin pie from regular pumpkins.
Yeah.
And so, we probably should be learning to do a blend of the two to make it really good. And so there, that's it. It's going to be learning what you can grow to eat. That is, well, that's not what the store sells.
Yeah. Like survival mode, my ideal thing is to even to keep my chickens alive is to have a separate garden for my chickens and have a separate garden for myself. So that way I am growing things like kale, butternut squash, stuff like that in my chicken garden, because butternut squash can last 10 months in your cellar. So you can easily store that so easily for chicken food for yourself or, whatever. So that's my ideal. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but
yeah, my wife wants to when she gets up here. I have the big garden I'm building here off the new cement patio. That'll be the quote dinner garden, where most stuff goes out, pick stuff for dinner, bring it in. She wants to do another garden where she can let a couple of chickens into different sections of it, so they go around and they scratch where the plants have gotten so tall chickens aren't going to kill it. There'll be plenty of bugs and stuff out there for them to eat. So you only have a few chickens in there, and just do a rotation like that, and that way that stuff will grow up and get bigger. I mean, corn is one of those things that once the corn is 18 inches tall, the chickens aren't going to kill it.
Yeah.
And so then you put the chickens out there and they'll keep all the other weeds down around the corn and stuff. And or if you wait until the corn gets 24 inches tall to 30 inches tall, and you plant your peas or your beans out there, and they start growing up there, and then the chickens aren't going to kill them either. And so she's
that's awesome. I have butternut squash from last year's garden in my basement still, and it's still okay. But 1.5 years, never heard of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and one of the things that we also planning doing, like Kaylin said here, chicken tractor. Yeah, we're gonna be doing chicken tractors, big ones that I got to pull around with my tractor out in the 5 acres out there and just start moving it around. So put them out there, watch the chickens just tear everything up, kill all the weeds and stuff growing up, and then we'll move it forward and just probably have several of them out there, and make sure there's some nesting boxes in there, so if I got to lay an egg, they hop up in there, lay an egg up in there, and we can collect the eggs while they're out there going around. That's going to be a big project.
Are you into doing your own meat birds? Because that's an ideal way of doing meat birds too. Yeah. You can put 10, 11 of them in a small tractor and move them around.
Yeah.
And then, then you don't have to worry about nesting boxes in your chicken tractor.
Yeah, I have not. All right, I've been around when I was a little kid, when my mom, my grandmother, my dad butchered up a lot of chickens. They never showed me how to do it because, hey, I was 6 years old at the time. You guys stay away. You guys didn't get grossed out. We weren't getting grossed out. We wanted to see what was going on, but we never. So my brother and I never learned to do it. Now later on, when we were in our teens, yeah, we learned how to do cows, butcher cows and stuff. But doing meat birds is something I want to do because I want to learn how to process it. At least my daughter and son-in-law got the neighbor to teach them, Curtis, the neighbor, to teach them how to do it.
Yeah.
And so they know how to do it. So if I have the meat birds, I can tell my son-in-law, all right, get your butt over here and do some work. Yeah, we're going to process these meat chickens and do that. But yeah, that's something we want to do. Is that, and that's also just having a garden area for raising the vegetables to feed the chickens that are in the coops. The chickens aren't out with it. They're we got the egg chickens in the coops, laying eggs, and we're going to be feeding them all the vegetables and stuff we can raise out in the garden that the chickens love, that we may not like. But the chickens love kale. They love chard, which we love chard, but they can't have a lot of chard. You got to limit the amount of chard they can have. They love squash.
Mm-hmm. And pumpkins. And
all the gourd family of vegetables. They love berries. Oh, do they love berries? So that's some of the things that we're going to be having a garden area just to raise food for the chickens. So we're not having to go to the store and buy 50-pound bags of chicken feed and stuff and do that. But, one of the things I want to do out here on the side of the house, or on the other side of the shop, where the irrigation pipe goes in, I want to put in the blackberries out there and get them trellised up good and high. But also once I get those stupid cottonwood trees gone, make a garden out there for food for the chickens and use the old pig pen as a chicken run and that grain silo out there as a chicken coop. And so once we get that all worked out, then that'll make us a lot more self-sufficient. But the thing is, though, we may have to, from across the street there, we may need to put in an acre of corn just to put up corn for the chickens during the wintertime.
Yeah.
And, maybe some buckwheat or something like that we can get a bunch of, grains for them to get them, make it sustainable for the chickens to grow them year round. And then, of course, once we go growing chickens and we have that many chickens and we have eggs and stuff off it, then we can sell eggs to buy supplemental food for them. But that's the thing too, is you got to figure out, it's not just the food that you're going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately go up the go back on the food chain. All right, we're going to be eating chicken. So what are we going to grow for the chickens?
Right.
Oh, we're going to be eating goats. What are we going to grow for the goats, the rabbits, the cows, whatever it is? Because those work as well too. Oh, I nearly forgot. Put this banner back up. There we go.
Shawnee, that's awesome. You guys are going to have a well-rounded garden.
Watermelons will be one of the ones that after my wife is up here and then we can spend more time with, we'll do the watermelons. The thing is, I'm going to experiment. Once my wife is here, we're going to experiment with watermelons. and chickens. To see, because basically the biggest problem we have where we're growing watermelons out around here is the friggin' morning glory. But if we can get the watermelons growing decently, and then we can let the chickens out there to keep scratching around, if they don't destroy the watermelon plant and they don't start pecking on the melons themselves. Because we notice when we give cut a watermelon up and give to the chickens, they'll eat the red stuff out of the middle and they leave the green alone. They leave the rind alone. So if they'll leave the rind alone on a whole melon, and they're safe from the chickens, then we're going to be absolutely going great on that. All right, we've been up here for an hour. So I'm going to give you what's coming up here. So today's Friday. So Sunday at 10 o'clock Eastern is Courtney. Yep. Then Monday at 10 o'clock Eastern is me and that one's going to be learning new ways to cook. Tuesday is on Gray Man Prepping is this Tactical Tuesday is what age has made me realize about prepping, which also includes gardening. And then Wednesday at 7 Eastern is Courtney again. Thursday morning at 10 Eastern is Courtney. Midnight on Thursday is the Midnight Ride with Gray Man Prepping. And then Friday will be noon for Courtney for the Blue Ribbon Canning show with Tammy from Rebel Canners, and then back here at 10 o'clock for us here. Now, next Friday is Are You Ready for Mother's Day? Guys, get your kids presents for their mother.
It's coming up.
It's coming up fast, and it'll blindside you. Now, big problem, and we're going to talk about this then a little bit. We're going to just touch a little bit on it as a teaser. Don't get your wife something she doesn't like or something she likes but would rather have it gotten a different way. And my wife said, stop buying roses. I go, but you love roses. She goes, I do love roses. Buy me a rose plant. Oh, roses year round just about. Ding, ding, ding. And so if you look at the videos about our front yard there in California on Chris's garden tour, you'll see roses on both sides, all the different, roses and stuff. And she went out and picked out, and we all right, we're going to pick out a rose. So we went out and she picked out, she did her research. She had a list, all these ones that were award-winning ones with the color she liked. And so that's what she got over several years for Mother's Day and birthday was rose plants.
That's okay. Dior's.
Okay, so buy mom's plants or chickens. But don't just buy any plants or any. Make sure that they're the ones you want, whether she wants the Rhode Island Reds or she wants the Easter Eggers, or whether she wants the Cornish Cross or whatever. Get the right chicken. Or whether she wants Banties. My mom loved Banty chickens. So, all right. So that's what's coming up. I want to thank Courtney for coming up here and helping me out here. A lot of good ideas from her and a lot of, experience. And if you need to learn about chickens, talk to the chicken whisperer here.
That's funny that you say that.
And I want to thank everybody for this toxin side. Okay, sorry. I'm allergic to watermelons, but I buy those black diamond ones for the wife. All right, folks. So Sunday at 10 over on Wide Family Farm. Thanks for coming in, and we will see you around.
Bye, guys.